That was glowing. So thank you. And thanks to everyone who's joining, especially around this time. I guess you could be doing anything, but you're here with us, and I appreciate that. This masterclass, How to Spot a Good Idea, is actually a remix of our Enterprise MasterClass on problem solving. And so it's designed to be very interactive and very conversational. If we were in person, we kind of be like spread out, kind of like Oprah's book club or something. But since I can't see you and this is virtual, we'll try to keep it as relaxed as possible. I'll still keep it conversational, though it will be a one-way conversation. But with that said, there is a Q&A section. So if there is a concept that you want to dive deeper into or have a question about, just pop it into the Q&A at any time. At the end, Hannah will kind of go through and moderate. And so with that, let's get started with the first question. All right, we're back to polling. That's another way we're going to try to keep this interactive just to make sure that these concepts are landing. So let's get serious for a second, right? When we think about the number one reason why companies, products, or ideas fail, just those that just didn't make it, what do you think the number one reason is? Is it the team, the cash flow, or product market fit? And I'll give you a clue. The answer to that poll is also the answer to this riddle that's on your screen here, which says, what do Disney, Google, Apple, Segway, and MoviePass all have in common? Now, should have voted in that by now. Let's check these answers. And it seems that, okay, most people chose product market fit. Some people chose team. That's not uncommon. But the answer to this poll and this riddle is no product market fit. What all of these companies have in common is that they all released a product or an idea that failed. And the number one reason why that idea failed is that not enough people wanted it. And that's what product market fit is when enough people want your idea that you can create a business out of it or otherwise sustain it. And over 90% of all ideas fail. That's just the way things are. Google, for example, is known for losing upwards of $1 billion per quarter on other bets, just things that just didn't work out. And Webvan was an online grocery business that in 1999 raised $800 million. 3 years later, by 2001, they were filing for bankruptcy. And Segway was a Silicon Valley darling, projected to sell between 50, 100,000 units per year. 13 months later, they only sold 6,000. So it doesn't matter what company you're from or how much money you invested. Just consider this to be a law of the market that you can't force people to buy what they don't want. Now, of course, bad companies have bad teams and likely cash flow issues. But these are symptoms of no product market fit and not causes of companies going out of business. The customer does not know how toxic your marketing team is or how much money you have in the bank. Neither do they care. All they know is whether they want to buy what you're selling. And when you don't have product market fit, there's usually a lot of infighting. Everyone is right, everyone else is wrong. You don't have product market fit. You likely have cash flow issues. You don't have money coming in, so you can't sustain a business. These are correlated for sure, but a company is empowered to get rid of its toxic employees and leaders. If the company is worth saving, they will absolutely get rid of those that threaten their existence. And we've seen this happen very publicly. Uber ousted its founder and CEO. Steve Jobs is famously known for being ousted from his own company. And WeWork also ousted its founder and CEO. Some people think that it's not enough money, and that's the reason for the failure. But either your product or service is so good that everybody wants it and is willing to pay for it, or your future looks so great that investors are willing to pay up front for it. And we've seen that as well. Both Uber and Airbnb have raised billions of dollars before turning a profit. So there is not a single company that has its product flying off the proverbial shelves that went out of business. If there is, if you can think of one, please let us know. Drop it in the chat or the QA, and we'll look into it. If you take a look here, these 24 companies raised a combined $1.2 billion, and they all shut down in 2019. So the amount of money invested is not the factor, right? And previous success doesn't matter either. The Lion King was released in 1994 and grossed nearly $1 billion worldwide. Yet, for the next 16 years, this studio could not produce another hit. They could not spot a good idea. And everyone needs a strategy for identifying good ideas. The art to spotting a good idea is knowing what to pursue and what to abandon. Just because you could do something doesn't mean that you should. And if you pause and think about that for a second, what is at risk when you can't spot a good idea? When you don't have a way to spot good ideas, then any investment can look like a good investment. Think of or consider Theranos, who raised over $700 million from the likes of the Waltons, which is Walmart, Rupert Murdoch from Fox, and Walgreens, neither of which did any due diligence. They didn't actually do any fact checking. Instead, they were swayed by the persona of its founder, Elizabeth Holmes, who had a quote unquote Steve Jobs-like persona. She's now under federal indictment for massive fraud. Or on the other hand, you can miss the boat completely. In 2000, Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy wholesale Netflix for $50 million. And they declined the opportunity 10 years later, 2010, and Blockbuster is filing for bankruptcy. In 2000, Nokia was selling half of all smartphones worldwide. 2004, a couple engineers get together and design a new kind of smartphone, complete with a high-definition camera, touchscreen, and a companion app store. Nokia declines to pursue that initiative. And 3 years later, 2007, they get to watch Steve Jobs get on stage and announce the world's first iPhone, complete with a high-definition camera, touchscreen, and a companion app store. By 2013, Nokia has lost almost $250 billion of its worth. And Kodak actually invented the digital camera in 1975, shelved it. Sony and Canon take advantage. And by 2012, Kodak is filing for bankruptcy. So the point here is your ability to spot a good idea is the difference between profit and loss. So it's important to gain this superpower as a competency. And that's what we're here to do today. Just power up with this superpower. All right.